We go back up here and look at the core ways to play. A progression is a start small and build system, right? You can call it what you want to, all those names that we give it so we don't forget what they're called, right? The strategy is the parolee, whatever, right? Ultimately, it's this. It's starting small, one unit, and trying to build, but we're building aggressively with a plan, right? Let's get into the topic of the day here, which is going to be progression betting. One of my favorite things to talk about. And we'll talk about this probably a couple of different times moving forward. I want to give you kind of an overview today. But again, grounding. Goals. Have a goal. We talked about this 5 minutes ago, right? You got to have a goal to get it done. You don't got something in your mind, right? You have nothing to shoot for. Dan asked a question yesterday. Nice, Dr. Dan. When is good enough good enough? Close enough good enough? Today's goal was 1,300, right? I squeaked out $800 today after being down about $3,000. We squeaked all that back and got to $800 up. That's a win, right? Not having a loss today would have been a win. Not having a loss of $1,000 would have been a win today. As it turns out, we profited $800. I'm fine, man. That's good enough diploma, man. We're out of here. Close enough is good enough sometimes. My strategy accounts for the way that I win, right? Either I'm going to win it all in one roll or two rolls, or I'm going to do something different that takes 3 or 4 rolls like I did today. That's how we do it. Having the bankroll lets me recover, right? I went out today knowingly with a lower level to win less money more often. I had bankroll backing me if it didn't work, and it didn't work. Luckily, the bankroll saved us. You got to have that kind of, out front to decide what you're going to do ahead of time. That's your brain. Your brain gets in the way of you sometimes. Your brain can lead you sometimes, but as long as you got discipline, you're out of here. So that's the basics, right? Of all the things I teach, that's what it's all about to me, right? Being mindful. Today, though, we're going to run into another play style. Okay, I want to examine all the different ways you can play the games. And it's not just craps, it's all the games. So our play style today, session 12, is going to be progressive betting for the win. Okay, I love progressive betting. Okay, and it fits into this pretty well. Remember, there's 3 basic core ways that I think you can gamble. All the things that we do, all the strategies, everything you see on YouTube, everything you read in a book boils down to some variation of these 3 things, which is starting with some small level, table minimum or the minimum amount you're willing to lose. Start small and build your bets up. Take some wins, take some off the table, get bigger as you go. That's one way. You can start with a little bit of a higher bet, medium-sized bet, and just collect all day long. Just get a good, meaningful bet out there and just same bet it. Same betting works really, really well, right? The third thing you can do is a regression strategy, which is go higher than you're willing to lose. You have to be willing to lose that bet, but go higher than your comfort zone is, right? Maybe it's a $100 bet. Take the win, come back down. Your next bet is $25, which gets you back your 100, back in the rack. It gets you back a $75 profit. And now you're playing with house money or with profits. So starting high takes a little bit of, but regress down, you're playing free and clear. You start in the middle, right? Get the collection machine going. That's a great way to play, or start small and build up. How you merge those together, how you employ that stuff as a strategy, that's your strategy. How you're going to put the bets out there, what your plan of attack is. I think if you do that in a phased way, that makes you dangerous. And I think that's where the 401 courses lead us, is like, okay, we can like understand that the math is going to get you. We can understand it's a negative EV game, no matter what game it is. We can understand all of that. The law of big numbers will get you. All those things are true, right? Where you put your money, how much money you put out there, and how you handle the money when it's out there is the difference between winning $50 or $200 on the same set of outcomes, or potentially losing $25 in that same set of rolls or spins or hands. It's how you play your bets does matter. And again, everything stems from those 3 core ways to play. Today, I want to talk about progressions. This is not necessarily pressing. Okay, to me, progression betting and pressing are 2 different things. Okay, they both put your profits out there to do a job. Progression betting is really kind of a foot to the floor, all or nothing kind of a thing. Okay, the problem with progression betting, you'll see this, it does not optimize at all for time. At all. It could be, you could be out there forever. The donks of a progression bettor. Depends on what you're progressing, but typically speaking, it's going to be half of the things beat you and half of the things win for you. It's usually a 50-50 prop when you're doing a progression type of system. So yeah, your donks are going to be maybe more, right? But you're optimizing for money. And you'll find that with progression betting, you're taking big swings, big home run swings, but you're using very small bets to do so. This actually is kind of an offshoot. If you go backwards here, it's an offshoot of start small and build, right? Progression betting is starting with the smallest you're willing to lose and building your bets. Progressions just build your bets very aggressively. That's the difference between a progression bettor and a standard presser, okay? Now again, buckle up, it can take a while. If you're looking to win a progression, your condition is well known. You're gonna need 2, 3, 4, 5 things to happen in a row for it to work. So buckle up, that can take a minute, right? Your donks, it's less about the number of ways to lose, right? When you're progression betting, it's more about missing the runs, right? Your donks aren't like that number beat me. Your donk is going to be more like, I needed 5 in a row, I got 4. I needed 5 in a row, I got 3. You're just not going to, you're going to be sputtering a lot, right? But you've only got 1 unit at risk most of the time. And I think that to me is the biggest advantage of playing a progression system. You're only going to typically have 1 unit at risk. And your total risk therefore is scoped. If I'm going to say, you know what, we're going to put $25 at risk 10 times. We're going to try for a miracle. I'm willing to risk the $250. I know what it is. It's never going to be more than 1 unit on any one spin or roll or whatever. And I know what it's going to be. I'm taking 10 cracks at it. If we catch the miracle, we catch the miracle, right? If we do, it's a big reward, right? Progressions have massive rewards. They're designed to win 10, 15, 20 units when they work. That's the whole point of it, right? And again, your number of attempts is very well known, right? If it wins 10, and I'll show you here, you know that this one progression we do wins 10 units when it works. That means I have 9 times to try it. I can try it 9 times, and if it works on the 9th time, I made 2 units, and I'm back to start again. You can keep on going, right? That's the thing. You know how many cracks at it you have, which is kind of cool, right? That's an advantage to me. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're progression betting, it takes a miracle to win. You're looking for 3, 4, or 5 in a row before you collect, right? And it can be tough sledding to do that. It's frustrating. I've done it on my shows. You've seen me do this on the pass line or the don't pass line and craps. And I've tried a progression bet during the paycheck show. And it's like, man, you're getting crushed down there. You know, that I'm just feeding that beast on the line. And eventually all the non-miracles add up and I lose 9 times in a row. But when it works, it gets hammered, right? And it makes that all back. The thing about it is this. It takes a miracle to win. It doesn't take much to lose, right? You need 4 or 5 in a row. That means if you get 2, 3, or 4, you're losing on 2, 3, or 4 consecutive wins. You can still lose, right? That's a big disadvantage, right? And again, on the comp side of things, all that bet movement can be easily missed, right? You start at 1 unit and you're progress, and then you're back down to 1 unit again, right? When they're looking at your bets, they're going to catch the 1 unit most of the time. Right. So from a comp standpoint, you got to, again, make sure that that's getting seen. It's an important thing. So what are some of the progressions that we're going to look at? I'm going to go to my table here. We're going to look at some of these things, but let's examine, for example, the parolee, which is a 2, 3, or 4 hit in a row. These are all 4 in a row, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4 up and pull after initial parlay. The aggressive 1, 3, 2, 4, which I really like a lot. There's a parlay press that we'll show you, which gets complex, but it can ramp up quick, which is kind of nice. And then there's the permanent press, which you go up to a level or a count on every outcome, right? These are all ways to be hyper aggressive down there. And I think when you look at them and I'll play this out for you here in a minute. When you look at them in isolation, you're like, that'd be great to do. But again, more often than not, on the disadvantage screen, more often than not, it doesn't take much for you not to win. You're going to burn that unit every single time. So let's head back over to that table and let's take a look at a couple of these things under the microscope. So progression betting, again, there's so many ways to do this. This is just some of the more popular ones. So many ways to attack a streak. This to me is the way that you beat up a streak when it happens. And again, doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it does. Here we go. I'm going to go down and to show you one. We'll put a quarter in the field so you can see it nice and clear. Okay, now Let's take the Paroli as the first one. I got it up on screen. The Paroli is a 4-streak parlay. You can do it in 3, but here's what happens. Watch this. 1 unit. If it wins, we're gonna go with the if it works thing. If it works, you win a unit and you parlay it. Okay. If that works, you win 2 units. And I'll leave them all here. You're gonna parlay that. So we'll do 1. You have a 2-unit bet out there. Now you have a 4-unit bet out there. On the third hit, it would win 4 units. And you parlay it again. That's the first win, second win, third win. If you stop at 3 wins, by the way, your net profit is 7 units, which is not bad. Okay. If you do the real Paroli and go for the next win, 1, 2, 3, 4, your total 4, 8, 11 units in profit. Okay, if it works out for you, right? Again, parlay the first one, wins 2. Parlay it, wins 4. Parlay that. Now you got 8 units. I'm sorry, 8 units out there. You'd win 8 units on the last hit. I counted that wrong. You would win 8. You'd win all this, right? So you're going to win 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 units. The Paroli is a 15-unit win. Now, what I said before was this. You can stop in the middle at 3 if you get scared to do the 4th one. But we know that it wins 15 when it works, which means if you're going to come out here and say, I'm going to give it 10 tries. I'm going to give it 10 tries. Let's say that you lose. Let's say that you lose 8 of them. You lose, there's 5. Let's say you lose it 8 times. That sucks. But on the 9th time, it wins, and it wins the 15 units, right? 5, 10, it profits you 15. On the 9th one, you win 15 units. Well, you lost 8 earlier. 5, 6, 7, 8. You're still up a net of 7, right? So as you go, okay, cool, now I'm up 7 units. Now I got 17 more tries at it to get the 15, right? You can take those wins and keep stacking them. That's the way these progressions work. Guys that play progressions like this, right, know that I've got really 10 to 14 tries if I want to at that one, because I know that the miracle pays me 15. That's what you do in these things, right? The other one I'll show you is the 1, 3, 2, 4. It's actually a 2-unit. This one's a 2-unit investment. Your first unit, you win it. You have to, when you're 1, you drop another one from your rack. There's your 2-unit investment. So you go from 1 unit to a 3-unit bet. When the 3-unit bet wins, again, this is going to be hit number 2. When 3 units wins, you regress back to 2. In your rack goes 1, 2, 3, 4. You got your 2 units back that you had invested plus 2 units in profit. Now you're at 2. When it wins, you parlay the win. And when that wins, you win 4. And your net is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a 10-unit play for a 2-unit investment. Okay. And again, you brought money back on the second one. The Paroli never brings money back. It wins 5 units more, but it never brings money back. This one brings money back on the second hit. So at least you're out of the hand and you get to keep the progression going. This one optimizes more for time, but at a slight bankroll cost. I like the 1, 3, 2, 4. You can go with 1, 2, 3, 4 also, right? So take a hit, go from 1 unit to 2 units. When 2 units wins, go to 3 units. Take back your initial money. So again, you get that money back. Then 3 units becomes 4 units, taking profit back. 4 units wins, of course, 4 units. And when all said and done, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units in profit. The 1, 3, 2, 4 and the 1, 2, 3, 4 both profit you 10. They both bring back money to the rack on that second hit. The 1, 3, 2, 4 brings back more on the second hit than the second one does. But that's a little up and pull kind of action for you, right? The parlay press, one of my favorites, is a good builder strategy. It works really well on the lines, right? The parlay press works like this. Your first bet is 1 unit. It wins and you parlay it. If the parlay wins, you take that back to your rack, which gets your money back plus profit. Your next level is level 2. So you stay here. If 2 units wins, you press it up. If that wins, the parlay, your next bet is level 3. So you actually go to 3 units and take back 5 to your rack. If a 3-unit bet wins, you parlay it up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units wins. Your next bet is a 4-unit bet. All that comes back to the rack. So every time you win, you parlay. After a parlay win, you just keep increasing the base bet by 1 unit, and the parlays become huge. Look how much money comes back, right? You got 5, 10, 15 units in the 4 hits. The same number of hits, but you got massive amount of money coming back, and you're always bringing back. This one here, you're bringing back money almost every hit. That's the parlay press move. Okay, the permanent press just adds a unit every time, no matter what. So you got 10 cracks at it. Let's say we're in the field, right? Let's do a quick field thing. It's a 4, we win it and we press it. We get a 6, we lose it, but the next bet out of your rack is 3 units, right? There's a 5, we lose the 5, come back out at 4. It's like a negative progression, but also at the same time, when these things start to win, good Lord, there's a lose that, come back out with 5. Always going up by a unit no matter what. 5 wins, look at that, triple, right? 5 wins, 15 units, and you're out of the hand, right? You're waiting for that to happen. So you keep pressing up, whether you win or lose, go up a unit. Up to like maybe a max of 10 units from your rack. Something like that. When you get to 10 units, you can stop. A win anywhere along the way there recovers all that, right? Again, progressions take guts. It takes patience. It takes bankroll to get through it. They're all fun. In my view, these are kind of like I said, they're kind of like side bets, because if I'm doing like a whatever, let's say I'm playing craps, let's say I'm playing roulette even, right? Let's say I'm doing like something with the dozens. I have a roulette dozens thing going. I'm working the dozens and maybe like a street or something. And I'm trying to, grind money out there. Having a progression going on the red at the same time, one of these progressions, just working red and black with the progression while you're doing something else out there, that's a great way to kind of jumpstart things, right? On a craps table, doing a progression on the line, or maybe even, God forbid, in the field, while you're doing your regular strategy, that thing becomes a separate little play. And you can say, I'm going to risk 250, 10 quarters to get 4 in a row in the field. And I'm going to run a paroli. And I'm going to try 10 times. And if I can turn that 25, that 1 green chip into 15 green chips at some point along the way, that little gambit worked out for me while I was doing other things. These progressions are really cool if it's not your primary play. But again, it's basically a play on the core ways to play. If I go back and I remind you, let's go now that you've seen it, right? We go back up here and look at the core ways to play. A progression is a start small and build system, right? You can call it what you want to, all those names that we give it so we don't forget what they're called, right? The strategy is the paroli, whatever, right? Ultimately, it's this. It's starting small, 1 unit, and trying to build, but we're building aggressively with a plan, right? One of the advantages of a progression is that it's a planned build, right? We know what it's going to take for wins. We know what our base bet is, and you can plan it all out. And you kind of know, you scope your wins and losses. The best use case for this, to me, they're great on 50-50 bets. They're great, like I say, in conjunction with other plays. Progress the pass line while working your place bets. It's a power move on higher paying bets. If you want to go with a big progression on a 5 or a 9 or a 4 or a 10 in craps, if you're already in profit, you want to go just destroy something, it's a power move if you can afford not to collect, right? Those like a paroli on a 5 or a 1, 3, 2, 4 on a 6 or an 8 or a 4 or a 10, they're massive. They're massive when they win, right? It's a power move from a strong position. I think it's very interesting playing this way. And I think that when you catch a streaky game like Baccarat, very streaky game, the red and black in roulette, very streaky, the field in craps, very streaky. If you happen to be in on a streak, like you get the first one of these things can pop for you. You can make pretty good money pretty quick. Just know that it's a gambit, it's a side bet. It's not the primary way I would say you got to play, but it's a great way to hammer something when it happens good. So, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave us a comment here in the comment section for the video, but really better still, join us on Discord. Go to casinogaming.tv and hit the community link in the menu there and join our Discord. That's where me, other YouTubers, and all of our subscribers hang out. We sit there and talk strategy and just BS kind of all day long. It's a great way to get connected and stay connected and kind of interact with the team, learn about meetups and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.